Welcome to another episode of Entrepreneurs in Fuego. We're documenting the journey of incredible entrepreneurs. My new best friend. Here we go. I'm gonna say your name. Shanna, Tingom.
You got it! Yes!
I've been practicing all day.
You rock.
Heritage Financial, how are you?
I'm fabulous. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
Good.
I'm doing fine.
Good.
I'm just very energetic. And you know what? You exude just energy. You just, make people want to do things.
That's every day for me. I have to make people sometimes do things they don't want to do.
Well, let's go to that.
Yes.
Because you have a financial company, Heritage Financial.
Yes.
And explain to you're better than I. Explain to us what your financial company does.
Sure. So I do full service financial planning and investment management for people in Arizona in 6 other states, but primarily my practice is focused in the East Valley in Arizona.
Okay.
And my job is to teach people how to save and invest for retirement and plan for retirement and really get them in a process to make that painless and seamless.
And you do that quite well. And in fact, in a very serendipitous way, you are your company is lined up in such a way that the changes that are coming into the new administration, you really don't care.
No.
You're setting it, and explain that.
Yeah, that's a great.
What we're talking about.
And it's fortuitous that we're speaking today
Yep.
because we just got word this morning that some regulations that the Obama administration started putting in place 4 years ago, the Trump administration throws out.
Throws
this
them out.
morning, they're gone.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and that's what I'm talking about.
I was actually kind of frustrated by that because we've been preparing. My practice has been preparing for years, so it's not really going to change anything that I do.
Precisely.
And really, it's just about making sure that we're taking care of our clients the best way that we possibly can, and we've always done that anyway. So, regulation or no regulation, we still put our clients' best interest first.
Which is fantastic, and that's why I wanted to point it out, because there's a lot of turmoil, there's a lot of changes that are happening very fast, very quickly, and somebody like you who owns a financial company, you have to adapt and change with those times. Very, very fast.
All the time, yeah, for sure. It's been a never-ending struggle.
Okay, and so were you always a financial planner?
That's a great question.
Did you always?
I did not want to be a financial planner when I grew up. I did not.
No, wait a minute. Were you a little girl out there? I'm going to be a financial planner.
I was not that little girl. I was not at all. I actually wanted to be a music teacher. I wanted to teach secondary music education, which my brother and sister-in-law do today. So God bless them.
Do you play any instruments?
I used to. I haven't picked it up in about 20 years, but I played the trumpet all through high school and college. So did my dad, and so does my brother. So it's a family business, I guess you'd say.
Well, it kind of you guide people, and you play the trumpet, and you
I'm very loud.
lead us, and you're loud, and you get us right there, and you tell people this is what you need to do.
This is what you need to do. So
how did you get into that?
Yeah, so that's a great question. When I was in high school, I saw my parents, who are still alive today and wonderful, hardworking people, work really, really hard at jobs that they didn't necessarily love because there was a pension and a paycheck. And they both instilled a tremendous work ethic in me, and I'm grateful for that today. But when I got to college, I really started thinking about what that would mean. Like, their idea of success was getting a job out of college and working at that job for 40 years. And you and I both know that that doesn't happen anymore.
Right.
People are very transient. They move from job to job. And that's actually seen as a good thing in our economy today. It didn't used to be. So I really didn't understand how that was going to work for me because I didn't see them investing. I didn't have that example from my folks. Their parents were Depression era. So investing was a bad thing for their parents and for them. So I went in and met with a financial planner. I looked in the phone book. This was before Al Gore invented the internet. So,
which he did.
Yeah, exactly. So I opened the phone book up and I made an appointment when I was, I think, 19, right? And I was broke as a joke, literally. I had coasted in on fumes, was working 5 jobs to put myself through school. And I made an appointment just because I wanted to understand this stuff, investing and financial planning and all of that, and how it might apply to me. And
you had no background.
No background.
All what you've seen was your own experience, seen from your parents. but it was empty.
Yeah, it was. And I knew that I didn't want that path.
Right.
Right? So what I did was I made this appointment. I went in and I sat down and, here's a college kid, completely broke, sitting in this beautiful financial advisor's office with the marble in the woods and the trophies on the walls. It was ridiculous. I don't know what I was thinking. So I sat down and he's like, what can I do to help you? I think he's hoping I was going to say I won the lottery or something. I mean, like looking at
I just inherited some
right,
money.
exactly. Like, no. And I was just honest with him. I said, listen, I'm broke. I don't know if I have enough gas to get home today. I'm like literally that broke. But I want to learn this stuff and I need somebody to teach me and I don't know where to go. And so he kind of did one of these and he put his pen down and then he reached across the desk, patted me on the head and said, don't worry, sweetheart, someday your husband will take care of this for you.
Oh boy.
Right?
Oh, wow.
And that was sort of like a turning point moment for me. It really was. Because I could either agree to do that, which a lot of my classmates did. They got married, their husbands took care of everything, and that's one path. Yep. But I knew that I didn't want that path. So I kind of got mad. And I started learning and I started reading and I started deciding that that was not going to be the way that I wanted to go. And I changed my major from music to business within a couple of months and the rest is history. I started in banking and then went into real estate and the mortgage business and I've been in the financial services industry my whole career.
Well, it sounds to me like in your own experience you found that there's a lot of information that is lacking out there.
Yes.
And also, I mean, you were a kid growing up and you didn't have this education, right?
Right.
And so, in your estimation, what is it that we as parents are doing wrong in not teaching our kids? Should there be some kind of a structure where we teach kids, much like we teach kids how to cook or whatever? Hey, this is how you balance a checkbook. This is how you start planning. This is how you start doing things.
It is that
the most important thing in the world.
Yeah, I mean, it's how to balance a checkbook, what a credit report looks like, what does it mean if you get into student loan debt?
I had no idea about
I didn't either.
Yeah,
I mean, I walked out of college with 6 credit cards in debt and student loan debt, and like I didn't know any of that. And my parents didn't think to teach me. Because they use cash for everything, still do today. And so it really is tough because what I find in my practice so often, especially with women, is that they're digging themselves out of a hole that they had no knowledge to really avoid.
And you actually, part of what you do is you also advise folks when they get divorced.
Yes, I do. Unfortunately. And that's a big part of my practice because
is that a big part? Okay.
It is. And because I'm divorced and I've been down that road and luckily we didn't have kids or a lot of property and it was a fairly amicable settlement. But I've had so many clients that have come to me after the fact that have made poor decisions in the process because they were told by their spouse that this was the way it was going to be. And then they come to me after the fact and there are just so many decisions in the divorce process that you can't undo once you've made them. And so they end up in houses they can't afford with not the amount of assets that they should have, with all of this emotional and financial baggage. And my goal is just to try to help them make rational decisions in that process because the divorce process isn't a rational process. It sucks.
Yeah.
No matter how you look at it.
What's the so now you've been at this for how long?
I've been in practice for 5 years.
What's the one thing that you've learned in these 5 years that you're going to tell that little girl that is walking into that financial advisor's office similar as you did some time ago? What are you going to tell them?
Well, I would say just to find your voice and to not be afraid to ask questions, because one of the things that, and I was at that point afraid to ask questions of anybody really, and I see that with a lot of my clients is that they're afraid of sounding stupid. And they think they should know this stuff, but they're never taught it. So, it really needs to be okay for people to ask questions of their spouses, of their business partners, of their parents, and certainly of their financial professionals.
We just don't want to sound dumb.
Yeah, we don't want to sound dumb, and there is no such thing as a dumb question. But I think a lot of people in my industry do a really good job of making people feel stupid.
They use very sophisticated words, and they're looking at you in such a way that
you should know this. Yes.
You should know that word.
I hear that all the time. It's like, well, they threw all this language at me and I didn't know what it meant and I just nodded and went, okay. And that's a terrifying place to be.
When I win the lottery, can I come to you?
You can, absolutely.
I know I'm going to come to you, man.
There you go.
You're so energetic, so much fun. And I tell you, the first thing, I just met you, right? But the first thing that I got from you is like, I can trust this person. You're so engaging and so friendly and so I mean, you inspire.
Thank you.
That
Well, what you see is what you
exuberant-
get with me. People that know me know that there's only one me, and what you see is what you get. So either you like me or you don't.
I like you, and I get that feeling, and I can tell you right now that the lessons that you just taught us today are something that will inspire people.
Thank you.
You're going to be in the radio show too with us?
Yes, of course.
Oh man, that's off the hook.
I can't wait.
Thank you so much for that. We're out.